Well, I got a new camera this morning. Got myself a GoPro to go on the bike for the track day, and I've come to visit my old friend and colleague from Rothamsted, now retired. This is another Keith. This is Keith Millard. And this is Keith's little home workshop.
Welcome.
So you're going to give us a little show around?
Yes, right. This is my Elliott 10M shaping machine. It's converted to single phase, which I can plug in and fire up. It's I think somebody's added a little bit extra on it. It will actually, it hasn't got enough power to power it up, but it can certainly power down to the rise and fall on the table. You put this, slide it across to drive the other motion, which I don't think was a standard fitting.
It was on my Royal.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe on the Royal, but this is all homemade.
Mm.
And I think some of this is homemade underneath it. But it hasn't got enough power to lift it. It will only descend. Obviously, it does side to side. I've got a plethora of grinding machines from various sorts. This one's got a green grit for tungsten carbide. And these are just ordinary standards, but the old Wolf is a beautiful one. It's beautifully balanced and it runs on forever. I've got a bandsaw, portable bandsaw under the bench with a compressor there for running spray pots and various other bits.
And that's the compressor you made?
Yes, it was made from a 1955 ex-army lorry that was thrown off when they fitted a hydraulic PTO to work a higher knuckle boom loader on it. So I salvaged that. I had it for years and finally made it into a working proposition.
And your little drill there's a homemade job as well, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's got 3 speeds, top speeds only, unfortunately, only 3000 RPM, but it's very good for tiny little number drills. I've got down to about number 80. Got various little vices I use for it, including the one made at college when I was about 16 as a homework project. Well, not a homework project, but one of the things one makes at college when one is an apprentice. I've got the milling machine here, milling drilling machine. It's quite a good little beast, and I've got full digital readout on it. We're up to 4 decimal places for English and 3 for metric. I can turn it over instantly for English to metric. And it's also got a power feed on it.
You haven't got that plugged in at the moment.
Would help, wouldn't it, if I turned it on?
That's alright, people are familiar with those.
Wasn't it on?
Because you got the angle poison instead.
Oh, yes, yeah, I've got the wrong.
But these readouts are operated by a wire wrapped around a drum with an encoder on it.
It's pretty accurate. I found it very repeatable, which I've used for a long while. What else have I got? I've got
Obviously the lathe.
big Warco here. I haven't used it very much since I've had the Myford lathe, which is next door. But yes, this is quite a good beast. Bought it from new, but I've got an extra for it. I've got a 4-jaw self-centering chuck, which I find extremely useful. I fitted it with the old what do you call these things these days?
Oh, it's the wedge style quick change.
Yes, rather than the old Dixon type. Yes.
Of course, nobody in the UK seems to stock those, so I ordered that from the US for Keith.
I've got storage underneath. I filled up the knee, but it's got all the handy things like lathe tools and spare chucks and things underneath them. And the cupboard actually holds most of the stuff for the milling machine. I've got a rotary table, etc. for the milling machine. This thing here with the 2 fans in it is actually a dust extractor for when you're airbrushing models, and it sucks through a filter, but it's just stacked underneath there. This cabinet here came from a retired dentist, which is really handy for putting things like milling cutters in, instead of having, I don't know, molar extractor tools, etc. That's my precision bench for assembling my little models and things on there. And then we've got next door if you want to.
Yeah, let's have a quick look in there.
If you want to have stop and start again. I've got a Meddings drill here, 1/2 inch capacity. I had a 5-speed job. It's actually got a full column, floor mounted one. But I tend to use it, that sort of thing. So I've got the good old vacuum cleaner stowed underneath, cleaning out the workshop. And I have the Myford. And the lights will work. There we go. I've fitted this with a rack and pinion type tailstock, Dixon 4-way quick release tool post, and at the moment it's fitted with a collet chuck, but I've also got a 4-jaw chuck, 3-jaw chuck and a 4-jaw independent chuck, so that gets most of my small stuff making, but the bigger lathe is handy for redoing my son's disc brakes on his cars. Also got a linishing machine, which I can, a linisher sander which I can bring into use. It just takes 5 minutes to dig it all out.
Yeah, well, you know how bad my workshop is.
Yeah, it's like most things, there's never enough space to do these things. Not unless I throw the car out, but I'm loath to do that.
And one of the reasons I came over is I'd found a book that I thought Keith might be interested in.
Oh, what they call it, Machinery Handbook for 1941. It's for, I think, the stokers on oil-fired warships. All handy information to how to set your turbines up for high speed. And the Admiralty rules and regulations.
And there's the little bit in the front with the guy's name and address and some of the ships he served on.
HMS Resolution, HMS Duke and HMS Stockham. Also HMS Royal Arthur. I have an idea that was a concrete warship somehow.
And this was Reginald T. Clark.
Yes.
Of Bethnal Green.
Sutton Buildings, Sceptre Road, Bethnal Green. London East 2.
But yeah, interesting to know if anybody's heard of him and he's still alive.
And it was issued to him in 26th of the 5th, 1944. So, no doubt he's long gone probably. And I have a propane gas torch which I use on bottles and things, yeah, to do any silver soldering and brazing up, should I want it, but I'm not too much into that. I do have an inverter welding set as well, but that lives in a box underneath the bench, because I don't really like getting the place too dirty with welding. No. I do it at minimal. I have welded up a brazier thing for the garden to burn the garden rubbish on. It's about the most ambitious thing I've ever welded up for myself. Yeah. The boat at the top here was built by my grandfather, allegedly. I'm not quite sure how much he made of it. It's supposed to be a Venetian motorboat, I do believe, but somebody else suggested it was actually used on Lake Maggiore. But my other interest is a railway tail lamp. Mm-hmm. Used to hang behind. And
is that a Stewart engine up there?
Yes, yeah. That was one project I made. It does actually run on compressed air. It's got the full valve gear. You can shunt it from forward to reverse gear. Set it. I've only ever run it on compressed air. I've never actually run it on steam. I don't have a steam boiler. But nothing much else. Oh, and the steam whistle here. It's a full-size steam whistle. It actually came off of a very large excavator that I came my way when I was working in America. It will work off a compressed air,
yeah.
so I think the The original one I think was made to work off compressed air on site. But,
well, thanks for the little tour. Perhaps we'll come back another time and look at some of your models. And
oh yes, yeah, I've got a few million I can bore you with.
and good to catch up. So, as I say, hopefully this will edit into something reasonable. I can put it up on my channel, and I'll give you a link when it's done.
Oh, fine. Yes, yeah, that'd be interesting. I'll be able to bore my children with it.
Thanks, Keith.